Hi, I'm Gail Marie from Six Dimensions of Healing. I'd like to talk to you today about 5 reasons to reclaim your power in the midst of chaos, fear, and anxiety. A wise friend convinced me many years ago not to believe in lessons so that I could stop setting them up for myself. I took it on board and this advice changed my life. It helped me reclaim my power. I don't think I'm a student on this earth to learn lessons, and I don't believe that a God has it in for us. And I definitely refuse to acknowledge that any crisis has happened because I've been bad or we as a human race need to suffer or to learn something. That just relinquishes your inner power and it suggests we're all the same, and nothing could be further from the truth. When outbreaks or crises occur around the world, it really disappoints me to hear that people say it's karmic or that the group of people affected did something wrong. There's no power in that for anyone. I witnessed this ugly side of humanity during the recent devastating Australian bushfires, and it crops up on social media often. The consensus is, if it's not happening to me, then it must be something you did wrong. This is both naive and archaic. I guess it's some sort of justification. It really goes back to BC days when the rains wouldn't come and so there needed to be a sacrifice to appease the vengeful gods of the day. That certainly didn't bring about rain because, as we know, the seasons do change. But it did help some people to justify that the authorities of the time had done all they could, unless, of course, it was your child that was being sacrificed. As we now know, some years we get a lot of rain and others we get drought and bushfires. Life isn't about what happens, it's about how we handle what happens. So why did this pandemic occur now, and how can we reclaim our power? From a spiritual and inner growth perspective, when enough people around the world become fearful for long enough, they create something of an enormous proportion which magnifies their deepest insecurities. This plays out on a global scale, and for many it becomes their reality, a total loss of personal power. How long does it last? Until change occurs. And the change is within. You need to reclaim your personal power. It's available for each and every one of us. I can't speak for everyone and what their circumstances have been, but as an example, I do know that many people haven't been happy with their lives, working hard to get nowhere with very few prospects for the future and worrying about spending money they don't have. Working and spending aren't the culprits. It's the reason behind it that's undermining your stability. Why are you working so hard? To get ahead? Have you forgotten that you're living now and not in the future? So you need to be present and stand in your own power today. You need to feel good now. Were you secretly wishing for something in your life to change? Or have you been hoping that there would be a magic wand waved that would change how humans interact with each other? Don't feel guilty for wanting change. You didn't make this happen. There is power in reevaluating your life. Crises are like vortexes. They magnify your insecurities to shine a spotlight on what's missing. And the one thing they do powerfully is help you reevaluate your life, to figure out what's really important. They redirect your vision to your original purpose for being here and offer you a new vantage point. The advantage of a crisis over the other major reset button, which is death, is that we're still alive and we get to remember what's happened. We have wisdom and experience, so we get to choose differently. The first thing I would ask you to do right now is to take stock, to acknowledge how you're feeling now. If you can't connect with your emotions because your head is in the way, then give it a colour or an animal. What colour is it like? Or what type of animal would you be? Or look at your mood. What mood are you in most often? Fear, apprehension, uncertainty? If you're not sure, look around you because it will be reflected back into your life and magnified. It's early days yet and the growth for most of us is yet to come. But if you can begin to find some peace amongst the chaos, you'll find you'll experience a broader perspective. This happens when we remove ourselves from inside the problem so we can see a solution. You don't need to wait for a vaccine or the authorities to make you feel safe. You can create your own security within. It has nothing to do with how much money you have, because even billionaires feel insecure in these times. But creating your own security within changes everything. Gaining power over your own life gives you these 5 advantages. 1, you no longer see these experiences as bad, but as an opportunity for growth and expansion. Number 2, fear no longer rules your thoughts or your decisions, so you take your power back. 3, the inner system you were born with, your mood barometer, becomes your guiding light rather than the media. 4, from fear to freedom takes a very short time to occur. And 5, you're able to handle crises from a bigger picture perspective. Never underestimate the significance of taking your own power back, because when you do, you no longer need to blame others for what's happening. This allows your inner guidance to grow stronger. In effect, you'll begin to stand outside the chaos rather than within it. You are guided to places of safety naturally and find good news stories to keep your mood buoyant. You are less on social media and more in touch within, and life begins to change around you. You may think this isn't facing reality, but actually the reality you are living now is very different to everyone else. It's made up of how you feel about life and what is looking back at you. So in essence, your reality was created by you. If you don't like the way you're feeling, then you have the power to change it. It's not a lesson to battle and contend with. There are so many realities we can create for ourselves, so it makes perfect sense that you would choose one that works over one you don't like, doesn't it? Your reality is created by what you perceive about what you see, not what you're actually looking at. It's your mood that determines what you really see and not your eyes. 2 people can walk into the same party, and one will look over at a corner and be drawn to the people arguing there, and the other will be drawn to some laughter in another part of the room. One will describe the party as being a horrible experience, and the other as a fun experience. It was the same party, and they had the same opportunities. They both even had 2 eyes. So what makes them different? It's simply their mood. Their differing moods help them to perceive differently, and therefore they were drawn to different situations. It wasn't luck, it wasn't personality, nor because one group was louder. It was a match. The group they gravitated towards was a match with their own personal power, their perception. Find your peace amongst the chaos and create power in your reality. Meditation or mindfulness will help you to step out of the pot of chaos and see the bigger picture. It's not one of lessons or blame, but compassion and humility. Regular meditation will help you develop trust and intuition, and will connect you with who you really are. This isn't a religious following, it's tapping into the inner guidance you were born with. This practice will help you bridge the gap from fear, anxiety, doubt, anger, and blame to hopefulness, guidance, clarity, sureness, appreciation, opportunity, and power. There are many meditations out there, but I offer you this one that I use every day, the Golden Light Meditation. You can watch it on video or as an audio download for your phone. Use the golden light to wrap around everyone and everything to help you find your peace amongst the chaos and create your very own personal power in everyday life. Don't set yourself up for lessons any longer. Instead, stand in this powerful place of knowing that you are well guided and loved. And when you remove yourself from the chaos through meditation, you will also gain clarity in your direction and purpose. That's reclaiming your power. You really are well loved and guided.